the global markets. But you know, the big story is really what's happening with the global markets. So Rima's moved over to the big wall to bring us the setup. Rima?
Oh, thank you very much for that. Across the board, there is a sea of red that you can see. Hang Seng is down close to about 2.5%. The Korean markets have slipped 1%. The Chinese markets are lower by 1%. And this is tracking the weakness that we had in global markets or Wall Street overnight, where the key indices, the Dow to the NASDAQ, were down 1.5 to about 2%. So the question is, what led to this kind of a weakness? Well, two financial stocks collapsed in the United States yesterday. SVB Financial. This is the parent company of a Silicon Valley bank, which largely banks and funds tech startups. And SVB Financial plunged 60%, and the stock is now trading at the lowest level since September of 2016. The second one was Silvergate Capital. Now, this is a US crypto-focused bank, and this stock, Silvergate, saw a decline of 42%. After it disclosed plans to wind down operations and voluntarily liquidate. The ripple effect of these two financial stocks crumbling was felt across the US banking stocks. So KBW Banking Index, this is a benchmark stock index of the banking sector. It has 24 US financials under its belt, and that saw a decline of 7%, its steepest drop since June of 2020, which was in the aftermath of COVID. What is the market worried about? The market is worried about potential losses in the huge bond portfolios held by other US banks. Remember, most US banks had invested the deposits that it got during the coronavirus pandemic into long-dated securities like treasuries. The value of those treasury, that holding, has fallen sharply in the last 1 year as interest rates have started rising very rapidly. And banks are sitting on potential losses on their bond portfolio. So we had SVB Financial crumbling in trade, but the market fears that other banks too are sitting on large losses too. And secondly, the high interest rates over the last 1 year have also hit the frothy corners of the market, the tech and the crypto, because both the two financial accidents which took place, one, SVB Financial catered to the tech startups because it used to bank the tech startups, and Silvergate was banking the cryptos. And here is a quote that we picked up from Uday Kotak, where he tweeted, "Overnight developments in the US banking, in the banking space, analysts, investors underestimate the importance of financial stability for the balance sheet of a bank, because when interest rates move up by 500 basis points from 0 to in a year, an accident is waiting to happen somewhere." And that's exactly what happened, an accident. Apart from that, there is also some amount of anxiety about the non-farm payroll data, which comes out at 7 p.m. India time. Remember, the January jobs data was a sizzling hot number. Not just hot, it was sizzling hot. The market was expecting a number of 200,000. We got a number of 500,000. And this jobs data has beaten estimates for 10 straight months in a row, the longest since 1997, which basically means the markets are underestimating the strength of the US labor market. And if the labor data, the jobs market is strong, it's harder to cool inflation. And that means the Fed needs to keep hiking, and that could tip the US economy into recession. And that's also what the US Treasury yield seemed to suggest. The 2-year yield has cooled now below the 5% mark, but earlier this week it was at 5%, while the 10-year yield is now at 4%. So the gap between the two is 100 basis points, the most extreme since 1981. So these are the two factors playing on the global markets, and right now it's kept the bulls away.
All right, Rima, thanks a lot for summing up everything that's going on in the global markets for us. But in fact, staying with the global markets, let's also invite our first guest on the show. We're joined by Rajat Bhattacharya, who's a senior investment strategist